Hi, my name is Christie Barnes. I am I was going to say fourth year, but I guess we call that a senior in college, studying psychology. And I would love someday to work with human trafficking victims somewhere in the anti-trafficking movement. My story with Words of Life started when I was 14 years old. I had just retired from a 10-year career as a competitive gymnast for a number of reasons, but one of those that I really kept a secret was fear. It was fear, and I felt so much shame over the magnitude of fear that I felt. It seemed like none of my teammates felt the same way, and I didn't really know what to do with it, but people told me over and over again that if I quit out of fear, I would regret it. I assured them that that wasn't the reason for my decision, but it did play a big role in it. So I found myself at 14 just navigating huge changes in what felt like every area of my life. And I was so confused. I just didn't expect the majority of the things that I felt. I had no idea until I quit how much my identity had been in this sport and my athleticism. And I was shocked not only to find that, but also to discover how much I felt like the people closest to me really valued me for that reason as well. So I found myself not knowing who I was and having a lot of questions about that. And in the midst of that, the messaging that I was receiving unintentionally from the people around me was that I was a disappointment. I felt like a failure and a coward, and I didn't know how I would ever make anything of myself. It was like I had chosen to throw all of my potential down the drain, and there was no coming back from that. And at least that's how it felt at the time. And I felt a lot of hurt and anger, and the anger was really twofold. It was partially towards the people in my life who I felt only valued me for my performance in that sport, but even more so, it was towards myself. Not only for making this decision, which I felt like was my fault, even though it was what I wanted, but also because as much as I wanted to believe that the stories that other people were communicating towards me, the narratives that I felt like they were sharing with me were false, I was deeply afraid that that was actually the truth about who I was. So around this time, one of my brothers, Daniel, started pursuing a friendship with me, and I definitely didn't have the languaging then to communicate that idea, but that was what was happening, and it made me so uncomfortable. I didn't know why he was, like, what he wanted from his loser little sister, or why he was being intentional about spending time with me. I would often avoid him, but he knew when to find his moments, because at night I would wash my face and brush my teeth, and he would come in and do the same thing at the same time. And it was during those times that he would ask me questions and share about himself, and he would always leave the room by hugging me and then telling me he loved me and saying goodnight. And I, for the longest time, just wouldn't even hug him back. I would just stand there like, okay, thank you, this is over now. Over the years, our friendship grew, and he spoke so many words of encouragement to me over that time. I didn't have any idea the implications of it or the impact of it. It honestly felt really awkward to me, but I started to get more and more used to it, and while I don't remember a lot of the things that he said specifically, I do remember the first time that I opened up to him about the weight of failure that I felt for my decision to quit gymnastics, which at this point was years in the past. I was so shocked by his response when he said, "I'm glad you quit." I was blown away because I had no idea why that would be. And when I asked why, he said, "Well, if you wouldn't have quit, I doubt we would have ever become this close of friends." That blew me away. It had never even occurred to me that my decision to quit, which had been the thing that I felt like was potentially ruining my life and had ruined my relationships with so many people, that could be seen as a positive to anyone, let alone that my friendship was a gift and something that my brother cherished and wanted. I truly can't even express. It's been a long journey of healing that continues to this day. But those words and those moments that he spoke over me were the start of the tides shifting. I guess I felt for a really long time like there was like a vinyl record whirring around in my head that was just this chorus of voices shouting failure, disappointment, lazy, unworthy. And my brother's words broke through, and it was something new. I wasn't sure if it was a new record that I was hearing, or if it was just that the sounds that I was hearing before were like the needle being stuck on one particular scratch that was just so deep, and that the new sounds I was hearing were actually the song that had been playing the whole time since before I was born. The song that was being sung over me since before creation began, that I was seen and loved and valued and worthy of that love. I can't even imagine where I would have been if my brother hadn't chosen to see me and speak those words over my life. And that started a long journey of me becoming passionate and aware of the words that we use. And I think it's so important because, as I'm sure a lot of people realize, like, the Lord chose to speak the world into creation, into existence. Like little children, we hear kids start to say the things that their parents are saying, or the words of the people who are around them the most, and sometimes it's like, where did you hear that word? Oh my goodness. But regardless, we know that children are influenced by the words that they hear from their parents. And so I want to invite people to hear that song that's being sung over them as well, that has been sung over them since the beginning of time. I am so far from perfect at this, but I want it to be out of the overflow of the abundance of love and life that He speaks over and into my life, that I get to pour that out onto other people. So, thanks for letting me share.